Shelters across Canada say they are seeing more and more seniors accessing help as the number of people who are homeless continues to grow in the country.
Right now, this very moment, thousands of Canadian seniors are living in vehicles, shelters, and tents. Not in some third world country, not in a war zone, right here in Canada. And while BC Premier David Eby watches Toronto's condo market implode with 53 sales in an entire month, he knows Vancouver is next. Subscribe right now because I'm about to share critical information the mainstream media won't tell you, and this situation is deteriorating by the day. Here's what they're not telling you on the evening news. The Globe and Mail, yes, the same publication that cheered the real estate boom for years, just published an article titled How the Toronto Condo Bubble Burst. Not concerns about not potential slowdown. They used the word burrs. In September 2025, only 53 new condos sold in Toronto. 53. That's down 90% from the 10-year average. The entire third quarter, just 319 units, the lowest since 1990. Think about that. We've gone back 35 years in time. One industry analyst said it perfectly. We peaked in 2021, 2022. In 2023, we halved. 2024, halved that. And in 2025, we're nowhere. But here's where it gets terrifying. Downtown one-bedroom condos are sitting on the market for months with zero interest. Investors who gambled on flipping pre-construction units are now trapped. They can't afford to close. They can't get financing, and they're watching their deposits evaporate. Days on market, 50 days now versus 43 last year. Active listings over 27,000, the highest level in almost 29 years. This isn't a soft landing. This is a controlled demolition of wealth. Hit that like button because we're diving into crucial details about who caused this misand, why they're never coming back. Here's the truth nobody wanted to admit during the boom years. In Ontario's major cities, investors bought up to 85% of new construction condos, not homeowners, not families, investors. And it wasn't just Ontario. In BC, half of all new condo apartments are investor-owned. Vernon, 69%. Kamloops, Anampaludwa%. Over 50%. Listen to this real story from a desperate condo owner. 4 years ago, my parents helped me buy a pre-construction condo. It completed 2 years ago. I rent it out for $2,100 a month, but the mortgage is $3,100 and the strata fee is $335. That means I'm paying $1,300 out of pocket every single month just to keep it. This person is bleeding $15,600 annually to own an asset that's declining in value. Their parents pressured them into it as a long-term investment. Now they're trapped, stressed, looking for new tenants every 6 months, unable to pursue their own life goals. And here's why the market won't recover anytime soon. The entire condo boom was built on speculative investors, not induzzers. When those investors retreat, demand collapses by 50 to 85% overnight. No investor, no matter how delusional, is buying a cash flow negative asset in a declining market. It's economic suicide. Make sure you're subscribed because this next story will break your heart. It's happening in thousands of Canadian communities right now. David Turner is 76 years old. For more than 2 months, he's been living, eating, and sleeping in his car. On good days, he goes to the Charlottetown Marina to greet tourists. "Welcome to pay, sir," he says with a smile. This man has a pension. He worked his entire life. He paid taxes for 50 years. And now, he can't afford rent in Prince Edward Island, one of Canada's smallest, least expensive provinces. In his own words, the expense of everything is just crazy. His debt mounted. After a couple months behind on rent, his landlord evicted him. Now he sleeps in his vehicle, grateful, he says, because at least he has a car. Others have nothing. Emergency shelters are filling up with seniors at unprecedented rates. Experts say they're struggling more than ever before, not because of personal failures, but because of systemic collapse. One shelter worker explained, seniors are struggling because of the cost of living, the cost of rent. They paid into the system their whole lives, and now the system has abandoned them. And while David Turner sleeps in his car, Canada sends billions abroad. $7 million to Jamaica, endless billions to Ukraine. Aid packages to countries most Canadians can't locate on a map. One commenter on social media summed it up perfectly: Canada. Thousands of seniors across the country are living in their vehicles after paying taxes for 50 years. It's like they're living in the aftermath of a Category 5 hurricane created by the Liberals. Here's a story that sounds unbelievable, but it's happening right now across Ontario. Local farmers are reporting a massive surge in theft, not just petty shoplifting. Organized, brazen theft. People are arriving at pick-your-own orchards with garbage bags, filling their cars with 150 pounds of apples, and driving off without paying. One orchard owner explained, "We've seen customers put them in strollers, in wagons, overfilling, and just trying to take as much as they can without paying. The biggest bust we've seen, somebody tried to take about 150 pounds extra than what they paid for. That's not poverty, that's theft. That's people who've given up on playing by the rules." Roadside produce stands are being raided. Fields are being harvested illegally at night. Small family farms already struggling are being robbed blind. One observer called it perfectly. Crime is almost legal in Canada now, and why wouldn't it be? When seniors live in cars, when young families bleed $15,600 annually on underwater condos, when the cost of living spirals out of control, desperation follows. People don't steal apples for fun. They steal because they're broke, hungry, and hopeless. The official U.S. unemployment rate is around 4%. But if you use the old calculation method, the one that counts people who've given up looking for work, the real rate is approximately 25%. Canada's official unemployment rate, over 7%. Using the same adjusted calculation, we're looking at a realistic unemployment rate of potentially 30%. That's not a recession, that's a depression. Ask any young Canadian trying to find work. Ask students competing for entry-level positions. Ask middle-aged workers laid off from manufacturing. The lines are endless. The opportunities are gone. CN Rail just cut 400 managers. UPS eliminated 48,000 jobs globally. Trump's tariffs are biting into shipping volumes, manufacturing output, cross-border trade, and yes, Canada is officially in a recession. Not that it matters, because the technical definition is meaningless when seniors are living in cars and families are stealing produce to survive. Toronto's condo market has collapsed. Only 53 sales in September. Over 27,000 active listings. Days on market at record highs. Prices down 25% from the 2022 peak. And Toronto is the canary in the coal mine. Vancouver is 12 to 18 months behind on the same crash trajectory. David Eby knows it. That's why he rejected foreign investment in August, then begged Ottawa for bailouts in November. Meanwhile, thousands of seniors people who built this country are living in vehicles. Emergency shelters overflow. Crime surges. Desperation spreads. And the banks. They can't even agree on what's coming next. Some predict rate cuts, others predict hikes. All of them are guessing. Here's what I know for certain. 2026 will be remembered as the year Canada's housing Ponzi scheme finally collapsed. The year the middle class evaporated. The year dignity became a luxury only the wealthy could afford. So I'm asking you directly, do you think this process can be stopped, or is there no going back? Is David Turner's story an anomaly, or is it Canada's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me what you're seeing in your community. Tell me if you think recovery is possible or if we've crossed a point of no return. And don't forget to subscribe. This is the Canada they don't show you on the news. But it's the Canada millions are living every single day.